Welcome to the Sweet 16 episode of Rewind Heroes. That's right, we're at that awkward age. I'm your co-host, Greg Compton.
And I'm the other co-host, Dan Gaines. This is going to be your weekly video podcast where we talk everything in movies, television, music, basically anything we think in pop culture that's cool.
And that means with 16 episodes, people have probably heard over 7 hours of our ramblings on the internet. So thank you very much.
I believe, yeah.
Should we continue to ramble on and get into some news?
Let's do it.
Let's ramble. All right, Dan, well, we've got a fun show to come up with, but there has been some sad news, and so maybe we should cover that right off the bat. Young actor Anton Yelchin, at the age of 27, passed away due to a car accident. And that's just, it's so sad when you hear that, and 2016 has just been a really brutal year for that kind of stuff. You know, if you might recognize him, he plays the young Chekhov in the new Star Trek films. He also was in the remake of Fright Night that also starred Colin Farrell, which I thought in its own right was good. I thought he was great in there. He was also in Charlie Bartlett, and that, you know, kind of had a, I don't think that was a commercial success. It was kind of a blend of Parker Lewis Can't Lose and Ferris Bueller, but he did a great job. You know, everything I saw him in, I really enjoyed, and it's just, beyond that, it's just sad to hear that. So hopefully 2016 can be a little kinder to us the rest of the year. But let's move on to some happier news. We got some really cool trailers. What's the first one we got?
Yeah. So, Greg, have we seen the birth of our first Oscar-worthy film in 2016? Fox Searchlight Pictures has released a new trailer for the critically acclaimed slave drama, The Birth of a Nation. Set against the antebellum South, The Birth of a Nation follows a literate slave and preacher who's financially strained. As the preacher witnesses countless atrocities against himself and his fellow slaves, he orchestrates an uprising in hopes of leading his people to freedom. Now, Greg, I wasn't too familiar with this film before watching the trailer, and I know in our show we typically talk about these lighthearted comic book action-adventure films, but I thought this one was worth mentioning because we have not gotten into that Oscar-worthy stuff just yet.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get your sense, your first initial thoughts on the trailer.
Well, first of all, we've seen this, at least I've heard about this and seen some of the pictures like the one I had here for quite a while now.
Yeah.
It really harkens to the 12 Years a Slave. It looks really powerful. You watch this and just kind of drills you into your seat for a bit. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I want to review this when it comes out because, I mean, I think you hit on the nail on the head. We've done a lot of these certain genre films, and we love these kind of films too, and you know, Revenant, and all these other films that are more drama-based. So every once in a while I think we're going to bring one of those up. But yeah, it looks like it's going to, you know, really tug at your heart a little bit, based on true story. So, yeah, I'm in. I want to see it.
I am too. And one of the things I had read, because the trailer kind of interested me enough to dig a little deeper, it was at Cannes this past year, and it apparently was all the rave. I mean, people could not stop talking about this film. So I got to believe that in October we're going to get that first film that's going to be right in that Oscar conversation.
Oh, I totally agree.
Definitely have to review that once we check it out.
Exactly.
So what else we got?
Well, HBO has released the new trailer for their show Vice Principals, starring Danny McBride and Walton Goggins, as two people vying for the new role of principal as the principal is leaving. So what do you think about this? Because I thought it looked cool. Bill Murray is the principal apparently, which means he'll probably do an episode, but wow, I've got to see this.
Oh, it looks like tons of fun. I mean, I think that the fact that Bill Murray's kind of setting the stage on what kind of show we're going to have, and just seeing these two vice principals go at it in this trailer, a lot of crap gets destroyed. I don't know, it reminded me a lot of my childhood with my vice principals. But no, I can't wait to check it out. It looks like it's coming out here in a couple weeks, so I'm all about it.
I mean, McBride is good, and anything Walton Goggins does. Now, I know you weren't a Justified fan. I was. He was like he was the main villain, or, you know, just the person that the Raylan Givens character played off of, and he was phenomenal. That actor is amazing. Let's forget about the movie Predators that he was in when he was a prisoner on there. But I'm really excited to see what that guy does, because anything that guy touches is just gold. So I think, yeah, Vice Principals is coming. And we got another trailer for another cool series. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that one?
On HBO. HBO aired the new Westworld trailer for their one-hour drama series following a dark odyssey about the dawn of artificial consciousness and the evolution of sin. Set at the intersection of our near future and reimagined past, it explores a world in which every human appetite, no matter how noble or depraved, can be indulged. The new series is inspired by the motion picture written and directed by Michael Crichton. I've never seen the film.
No.
But the trailer looked phenomenal. The cast, the feel, the crazy, it's like a Western that's in the future. I can't wait to check this out. What'd you think?
Yeah, I've never seen the original, but I remember the VHS copy at the video stores with like a Yul Brynner with his face being removed.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know anything they're doing for the direction. Anthony Hopkins is in it. Looks good. Evan Rachel Wood seems to be in this. Yeah, I'm all for it. I'll give it a shot. Anything HBO and Showtime does, really, I give a couple episodes each. So I'm interested to see.
I know, and it looked like it was, I was reading, it was going to be a 10-part series. So I kind of like that, too, because they're not going to try to stretch it out too long. Just really make it an event-type show. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. So those are some things we're going to look forward to. But this week, or this past week, a movie came out that we really enjoyed. You want to talk about a little Finding Dory?
Let's do it.
Let's get to the rewind. Okay, Dan, so we just went and we saw Finding Dory. I took my kids. They enjoyed it.
I took myself.
You took yourself. But before we talk about that, Pixar always has a short, and the short for this was called Piper. Any thoughts on Piper you want to share?
Yeah, first of all, a wonderful little simple story, but very well done. But I couldn't get past the animation.
Yeah.
It felt like I was watching a real bird on the beach trying to figure this thing out. But it was honestly probably one of my favorite Pixar shorts, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was simple in context, but it was very well executed.
Yeah, it was, I mean, the graphic work was amazing. The sand, and not just that, but they hit that shallow focus where, things are rack focusing, which is, this goes into focus, then it's shallow. Just phenomenal. I mean, it really had a cinematic feel to it, the water, everything. And then you're wondering what's Dory going to be like because it's all water.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was exciting. I liked it. And the story was simple. You're right. It was not just a graphics thing. It was endearing. It was adorable. So anyway, on the actual film itself, Finding Dory, what were your initial, what were you were you excited for this? What were your thoughts when you saw it?
All right. I'm glad you opened with that question. So I'm a huge Disney Pixar fan. And I got to tell you, when the Finding Dory was announced, I was kind of like, oh, God, here comes Cars 2. I wasn't excited about it. I wasn't even a huge Finding Nemo fan. It was not one of my top 5. So I was at least interested enough because it was Pixar, and even after seeing some of the trailers, I was at least somewhat interested, but I kind of had reserved expectations. But going into this film, I'm telling you, it was an absolute blast. I found myself totally engulfed with the visuals. I was laughing out loud. I mean, I was filled with the theater. You kind of wonder what's the crowd going to be like. And it was all ages. And you could tell people were thoroughly enjoying this film. I mean, it was just a great escape for, what, an hour, 40 minutes, 2 hours?
Yeah, it wasn't too long.
It wasn't, and
nice.
it flew. I mean, the movie got over, and I was like, no, I'm not ready for this to end.
Yeah.
So overall, I loved it. What'd you think?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, the animation was excellent. But, now this was a film that I actually was looking forward to. It was on my summer preview, one of mine that I wanted to check out. My kids loved it. I loved it. I think the cool thing was it wasn't a forced sequel. So many of these are. It seemed like a natural progression because the character doesn't remember things. You get a little splash of, oh, yeah, my parents. And so it's like, okay, that works. And it was a different location, so it made it feel fresh. They brought in new characters. Ed O'Neill as Hank.
The characters were phenomenal.
It was organic. They fit in really well. They didn't feel forced. So Hank was phenomenal. Ed O'Neill kills this movie. So he was great. And I don't like to look at who is doing the voice cast usually on these films. I like to be surprised and see if I can figure out some of them. So when I heard Ty Burrell doing is Bailey? Is that the character?
Yep.
Oh, that was great. And then when you see on the rocks, the sea lions, you're like, is that Idris Elba? Yes.
And I didn't even have a clue who it was in the film. I honestly had to look that up after the fact.
I caught it.
I didn't recognize it.
Well, see, I've watched Luther, all the seasons of Luther, and so I was like, I think that is, I'm not used to him not shouting at someone and trying to shoot him. So, it was great. It was done so well. There's a lot of good laughs. The voice acting was great. The animation was great. It wasn't too long. And I know everyone loves Toy Story 3 as the best Disney sequel, but and that one kind of, and maybe that series just didn't do as much for me. But this one, I would call this one of my favorite sequels, I mean, by far, compared to the Planes sequel, Fire and Rescue Beyond, Cars 2. This one was great.
It was, and I'll tell you, when it started, like the film gets rolling, and you realize, okay, this is a movie we're going to go find Dory's parents.
Yes.
And it started, and I'm not going to lie, in the beginning I was a little bummed. I'm like, oh God, this is just going to be a rehash of what we already heard 13 years ago. It's going to be all about their adventure finding her parents. But honestly, they zoomed right through that part of the film, and that was when I was like, all right.
Yeah.
They got to the marine biologist or whatever the heck that facility was, and that's what the movie really took place.
Oh, yeah.
And to me, I was really excited about that because it was like, okay, this is going to be a totally different film.
Right.
And it felt like an adventure.
It was great. So, and I mean, of course, the thing was the sequel was already out because I went to this, was that Movie Studio Grill?
Oh, yeah.
It's where you can eat. So I already found Dory beforehand because it had fish and chips. It was delicious. But
Just wrong.
it was wrong, but hey, it was so good. And one thing I will say, did you stick around for the after credits
Yes,
sequence?
I did. The tank gang.
Oh my gosh, bringing back all those characters, including Dennis Leary, just for a second. Bags floating.
Yep.
Freedom, nothing can happen now. Oh, who would do this? Scoop them up, now they're in another lap. It was just a beautiful, short little thing.
It was a nice touch.
Yeah, so I think that was great. I would say go see it. If you've got kids, I mean, I have a 6.5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. Loved it, sat there, just soaked it up, and all they could do is talk about Hank, and they still do a couple days later. So I'd say check it out. If you like Pixar films,
you're going to love it.
Right.
And we didn't talk about this off camera, but I'm going to put you on the spot. So
Sure.
You said this is one of your favorite sequels. What are your top 3 Disney Pixar? I'm just curious.
Oh, geez.
Just off the cuff.
I don't know. Incredibles was pretty incredible. No, it was. Yeah. Oh, geez. Probably Finding Nemo, and now I'm...
Really?
Yeah,
So
start
Nemo's
naming
up there
stuff.
for it. Well, for me, I can tell you right off the cuff. Toy Story 3, Up, and The Incredibles. Those are my 3
and Up
favorites.
and Toy Story 3 were for me. Now I'm starting to blank because I mean I've seen them all.
That's
I think we own them all. I'm trying to remember, but
Yeah.
name some others.
You got Brave, you've got Cars, you've got Ratatouille.
You know what? Maybe. There's something about
There's
Ratatouille that I
Monsters
love.
University, Monsters Inc.
No, you know what? I'm gonna
Is
go
that gonna go up
Ratatouille.
there?
It was not
Nice.
one of the biggest scoring ones, but it's a clever story.
It's very well done.
That soundtrack, and as a guitar
Yeah.
player, it's a lot of gypsy jazz music in
It
there.
always goes back
it's
to
so
music
good.
for
It
this guy.
does, but it was so good.
It
Yeah,
was.
I might
Yeah, that
actually
was
throw
great.
that one in there too. So
Cool.
I'm
Well,
sure
I
I'm
was just
missing
curious.
something.
Sorry to do that to you.
Yeah, no, hey, that's great. So yes, I'd suggest it. I think that's great.
Definitely.
Should we
Take your kids, take your family. You're going to have a blast. You're probably going to stop and get some toys on the way home because the merchandise is everywhere.
I know. So hey, we suggested that. Should we suggest a few other things?
Let's do it.
Let's go to some recos.
All right, Greg. So we've had some good news stories. We've reviewed a great film. What kind of good stuff do you have to recommend the viewers today?
Well, it's not a brand new album. It's a couple years old, but
it's an album.
But it's an album, and I was listening to it the other day, forgetting just how good it was. First of all, the artist, Imelda May, love her. The album Mayhem is my favorite of the ones that she has. That's what I'm going to recommend to you. Check it out. It's very retro feel. She does a lot of rockabilly sound. Her husband is the guitarist for the band. He plays a Gretsch just like Brian Setzer. So if you like Brian Setzer, it's that kind of electricity with the guitar. There's a horn player in the band. But it's like this, I don't know, just more of an edge to it than typical swing. She does a little bit of everything. On her most recent album, she has a ukulele cover of Blondie's Dreaming, which is just a kind of a cool bonus thing on there.
Huh.
That's really good. I mean,
That's
her
pretty neat.
voice is just phenomenal. Not enough people know about her, and the people that do think she's absolutely amazing. So check her out. Imelda May. Check out Mayhem first. Listen to it. Almost every track on there is great. And then if you like that, check out Love Tattoo, her first album, also good. Her newest one, Tribal, is a good album, but I think it pales in comparison to the last, or the others. So check them out, enjoy it, and what do you got for us?
Cool. Yeah. So kind of going into here in a couple weeks, we're going to be entering 4th of July. So just wanted to throw that out there that this weekend, Independence Day resurgence. It's Independence Day back in all its glory on the silver screen 20 years later. But I'm mainly bringing this up because next week on Rewind Heroes, we're going to be revisiting the original Independence Day
That's right.
in honor of the sequel and in honor of going into the holiday weekend. So go out to the theater, check it out, and if you have time, rewatch the original so you can kind of recap it with us next week in our new show.
That's right, and I probably won't have time to check out the new one just yet, but I think you are.
Yep.
So if nothing else, during our Recos segment
Kinda
next week, maybe
tease
you
this
can kind
overall
of give
feeling, yeah.
like a one-man review of that film,
Sure.
and I'm going to try to see it as soon as I can, but that way you guys
Cool.
get a little something there. So I think that about does it. Where they can find you on the interwebs?
On the interwebs, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, simply at Dan Gaines. Please email us at rewindheroes@gmail.com. Check out our Facebook. Greg, where can they find you?
You can find me at gcompton007 on Twitter. So I think that about covers it. So
Yep.
until next time, be kind.
And please rewind.